Greg Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me again. In today's video, we're going to look at a nice little major blues idea for the 5 chord. We've done one for the 1 chord, we did one from the 4 chord. Now, of course, our 1 chord idea could be used over the 4 chord, and our 4 chord idea could be used over the 1 chord. So these are all mix and match. But when the 5 chord comes along, we only have it for 1 bar. So I wanted to show you one of my absolute favorite little ideas. I love this. Now, it starts with the root. There's our 5th fret. Now, you may not recognize this, but this is box 4. For the E major blues sound. So I'm going to have my E, 1 and I'm going to bend the 2 of the scale, which is out of the major blues sound, a half step. Then I'm going to get the 3rd of the scale, the 4th of the scale, the flatted 5th, which comes, that's of course the blue note from the minor, and the 5th, right? So I have shared, really the minor blues sound, major blues sound, minor blues sound, minor blues sound, shared. I'm going to end it by rebending the 2 of the scale, which in this case is the 7th fret on the 2nd string, up a whole step to the major 3rd, and ending back on my E at the 5th fret of the 2nd string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there's nothing, of course, in the next bar, because the E chord, the 5 chord, only lasts for 1 bar. Now what would be, I could totally do this, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then it would be the D7 chord, right? I'm right there, so I could very easily move that. But if you think back to what we played over our D7 chord, why don't I just use 1 bar of it? Maybe just play the 1st bar of it, and that would work. Or I could play just the 2nd bar of it. So when the 5 chord comes along, I have 1 and 2 and something like that. There's a lot of ways you can sort of mix and match these licks, and I encourage you to do that as you get more comfortable with it. But let's. I haven't played this one nice and slow for you and counted it out, so let's do it a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. By the way, I could do that in A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right? Again, doesn't matter where I put my fingers. They'll just play the lick. That's how we want it to be. So, we now have the 3 licks for the 3 chords. We can even mix and match them a little bit, as I said. So, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to play my little jam track, and over the 1 chord, I'll use the lick that we learned for the 1 chord. Over the 4 chord, I'll use the lick that we used for the 4 chord. We'll go back to the 1 chord, I will use that lick. We'll go to the 5 chord, I will use that lick. We'll get to the 4 chord, I'll use half of that lick. Now the last 2 bars, in this particular case, the turnaround. Right? I just like hearing the minor blues scale over the turnaround most of the time, so I'm just going to play something. You can do whatever you want. I could play a little A major thing, and then a little E, because technically it's an A chord and an E chord. But I just always like the sound of the minor blues at that point. That's just something that I dig. You can obviously play around with it, do it however you want. But let's try it together. All right, so we got a couple of bars here to get us acclimated to the beat. 2, 3, 4, 1. We got 2 more bars of those. Let's do it again. Here's the 4 chord. There's the 1 chord again. Let's do the 5 chord. 4 chord. We'll do the beginning. And then I'm just gonna play whatever you are over the end. And there you go. I mean, despite me having a little bit of trouble changing the pages, you get the idea, right? I play the 1 chord over, I play any kind of 1 chord lick I want. Now, I could have played any and all of those different licks, right? I could do, you won't be able to see it obviously on the page, but A, there's that one, right? Here's the D. So hopefully you can see there, I'm using like the lick that we learned for D, I played it over A, and then the lick that we played for A, I played it over D. When you change positions on the fretboard, typically you just kind of reverse your licks. You don't necessarily have to learn brand new ones. Okay, what else is really cool about this that I want to show you is, let's say I don't have a jam track, right? These licks outline the chords so well, right? That if I just play 1, making this up. Okay, I just made up a little bit there at the end. But notice that even with no backing track, just playing them in time, you can hear the chords going on. It's like you can hear the band going on in the background, because these licks follow the chords so well. So if you're at, I'll say, the level 1 soloing, where you're just using the minor blues scale all the time, these major type of blues licks may not be used to you. But if you're thinking, I feel like I want to start to dabble in that major blues sound more, again, these are very much like the licks I have in 50 major slow blues licks by the box. Okay, so there's 10 licks that focus around box 1, 10 licks that focus around box 2, 10 in box 3, 10 in box 4, 10 in box 5. You can probably see how that's useful, because if we want to stay in one area of the fretboard, right, I went between basically basing around box 2 for this part of the fretboard, right? But then when this key came along, I needed box 5, and when the E came along, I needed box 4. Again, if I did the opposite, let's say I focused around here, box 5, box probably here, right, for the D, but could be here, which is box 3, and then of course like box 2 for the key of E. So, or for the E7 chord. You're going to need all of the boxes if you want to be able to follow those chords and keep them in one position of the fretboard. And even though, yes, in your solos you'll probably move, and the solos in 50 major slow blues licks by the box, the solos do move around, and they show you, you're going to move around. But you got to be able to play licks in all of those different positions. Okay, and again, it's just really almost impossible. If you want to do this, if you want to play in this style, it's impossible to make it up as you go along. You have to get licks under your fingers. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to play this lick and then play this lick. it's too much trying to reinvent the wheel if you're always like, okay, I want to play a little bit of major and a little bit of minor, but I can't see the major. Wait, I can't see the minor. It's your brain just it's too much to ask, right? Professional musicians just don't approach it that way. We have ideas already. We've worked them out. When it comes time to play them, we just play them, right? Our fingers will just play those licks. That's what you want to be able to do. So, as always, I'll leave downloads near this video. As always, if you have guitar playing friends that you think would appreciate this video and get something out of it, I hope you'll share it with them. I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. I hope you've enjoyed this little series, sort of, that I've put together for you. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.